Welcome back to Chapters Unfolded, where we really get into the nitty-gritty of these self-development books,
Yeah.
chapter by chapter,
Yeah.
and pull out those golden nuggets that can honestly make a difference in how you live your life.
Mhm.
We're on episode 5 of our Hyperfocus series,
Right.
and today it's all about chapter 4, which is called Taming Distractions.
Ooh, that's a good
I
one.
know, right? And I think we all struggle with this.
Totally.
I mean, think about it. How many times are you just trying to get something done,
Yeah.
and bam, a notification pops up?
Oh, yes.
Or like a random thought just
Hijacks your brain.
totally hijacks your brain, or you just feel this urge to check like anything else but what you're supposed to be doing.
Oh, it's a constant battle.
It is.
It is.
So this chapter is awesome because it really gets into why these distractions are so powerful.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it gives you actual practical things you can do to wrangle them in.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to look at some super interesting research.
Yeah.
Like I said, really practical stuff to help you.
Actionable strategies.
Yeah, exactly. Actionable strategies to take back control of your attention.
It's like reclaiming your mind,
Totally.
taking back the reins.
Taking back the reins of your brain.
Yes.
Now, before we dive in, if you're finding these deep dives valuable, do us a favor
Yeah.
and share Chapters Unfolded with your friends and family who might, benefit from this stuff too.
Spread the knowledge.
Totally spread the knowledge.
Uh-huh.
We also love hearing from you guys.
Yeah.
So after you've listened to this whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
think about what your biggest distraction is throughout your day.
Pick one. Just one.
Just one.
The biggest one.
That big one.
The one that really gets you.
Yeah, that one that just
Derails you.
absolutely derails you. And share it down in the comments.
Yeah.
We can all commiserate and learn together.
Absolutely.
So let's jump into this, all right?
Let's do it.
The author kicks things off by talking about something called the 40-second shock, which comes from some research by Gloria Mark and Mary Cherwinski.
Mm-hmm.
What was so special about their research? What made it stand out?
Well, what's really cool about their work is instead of those typical lab experiments,
Yeah.
they actually went into real workplaces
Oh, wow.
and studied real people just doing their jobs.
That's so smart.
Yeah, it gives you a much more accurate picture of how distractions actually happen in our everyday routines.
Right, like in the wild.
Exactly, in the wild,
Instead of...
in their natural habitat.
Yeah, exactly.
And to make things even more interesting, they used these heart rate variability monitors.
Oh, wow.
Which is basically a way to measure those tiny changes in stress levels
No.
to see how this constant shifting of attention was affecting people physically.
So they could track it in real time.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
I mean, it makes so much sense, right?
Oh, totally.
To study people in their natural habitat, like we were saying,
Mhm.
and they found something pretty shocking
Oh, yeah.
about how often we switch tasks on our computers.
Yeah, this is the big one.
What did they find?
On average, people switch tasks on their computers every 40 seconds.
Out.
I know, right?
40 seconds. That's less than a minute.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You barely even get started on anything.
And then bam, you're off to something else.
You're on to the next thing.
Yeah, and it gets even worse when you've got things like instant messaging
Oh, yeah.
or Skype open.
Right.
It drops to 35 seconds.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's not just that we're switching tasks often, but it's like this constant fragmentation is preventing us from really getting into that deep work.
Right.
And like I said, their heart rate data showed that it's stressing us out.
It makes you realize how, you never really let your brain fully engage.
You're never fully present, yeah.
Yeah.
You're always kind of half in, half out.
And then you try to speed up to make up for it.
Exactly. And then you end up just feeling more overwhelmed.
And more stress.
Yeah. And ultimately less productive.
It's like a vicious cycle.
It really is.
And it's not just a few quick glances here and there.
Oh, no.
Their research actually uncovered some, mind-blowing numbers
Oh, yeah.
about how often we do this throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
Lay it on me.
Okay, so they found that the average workday involves a whopping 566 switches between different computer applications.
Whoa.
566.
That's crazy.
I know, it's a lot. And that includes all those little detours we take,
Yeah.
like checking social media.
Right.
And speaking of social media, they found that people were checking Facebook an average of 21 times a day.
Oh, wow.
And get this, for those who actually used Facebook regularly,
Yeah.
that number almost doubled
Wow.
to 38 times a day.
Oh, my gosh. That's like an addiction.
I know, right? It really highlights how ingrained these habits are.
Yeah, we're like Pavlov's dogs.
Totally.
Every notification, every ding We just got to check.
We just gotta check.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm curious. Are all distractions created equal?
That's a great question.
Like, doesn't matter what's pulling us away?
Well, the research suggests that it does.
Okay.
Like, if the interruption is related to what you're working on,
Yeah.
like, say, a colleague sends you a document that's relevant to your report,
Right.
it tends to be less disruptive.
Okay.
But the problem is, most of us are juggling, like, 10 different projects at once.
Yeah.
So most interruptions are completely unrelated to our main task.
Right. So you're totally pulled out of your flow.
Exactly. And that's where the real damage is done.
So what's the real cost of these, like, unrelated interruptions?
Well, it turns out that it takes an average of 25 minutes to fully get back to what you were originally doing.
Oh, wow, 25 minutes.
Yeah, and during that time, we're not just, like, twiddling our thumbs.
Right.
We're usually working on an average of, like, 2.26 other tasks.
So we're basically just getting distracted by other distractions.
Exactly. It's like this constant cycle of task switching, and it's incredibly inefficient.
It's exhausting just thinking about it.
I know, right?
So, I mean, the big question is, why do we keep doing this to ourselves?
That's the million-dollar question.
Like, why are these distractions so alluring, even when we know they're bad for us?
Well, the author points out a really simple but powerful reason.
Good.
In the moment, distractions just feel better than the work we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You know, when our brain encounters even a little bit of resistance to a task,
Uh-huh.
maybe it's complicated or we're just not in the mood,
Yeah.
it immediately starts looking for something more gratifying.
I get that.
Something easier, something more fun.
Right. It's like our brain wants the easy way out.
Exactly.
So it's like, ooh, shiny object.
Oh, yeah, classic shiny object syndrome.
And of course, our phones and the internet are just like a buffet of shiny objects.
It's like a never-ending supply.
I know, right?
Our brains are wired for novelty, you know? We
Mhm.
crave new and stimulating things. And websites and apps are designed to exploit that.
Oh, yeah.
They give us those little hits of dopamine
Right.
through notifications, new content, social validation.
Like you get that little rush.
Yeah, it's like a drug.
I know it is.
And the author even shares this personal story of getting caught in this loop of distracting websites,
Oh, yeah.
even after meditating.
Wow, that's bad.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's like Twitter, Reddit, news, email, Amazon, just going round and round.
Oh, yeah, I think we've all been there.
It's a common trap.
I know, I've definitely been sucked into that vortex.
It happens to the best of us.
Okay, so if just trying to be more disciplined isn't working, what's the key to actually breaking free?
Well, the key is to manage those impulses before they even show up.
Okay, so it's like preempting them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The author says that eliminating distractions is like the second step to achieving hyperfocus.
Makes sense.
And it's really about making it easier for your brain to focus on the task at hand.
So setting yourself up for success.
Exactly, rather than constantly fighting yourself.
So it's like removing the temptation altogether.
Exactly, out of sight, out of mind.
I like that.
Yeah, it's much easier to resist something when it's not right there in front of you.
Okay, now the chapter also talks about these 4 types of distractions.
Uh-huh.
Can you just give us a quick overview of that?
Sure. So earlier in the book, the author introduced this idea that even unproductive tasks can be distractions.
Oh, okay.
It's anything that pulls us away from what we should be doing.
Right.
And when we're talking about categorizing them, the 2 main things to look at are how much control we have over the distraction
Okay.
and whether it's annoying or enjoyable.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a helpful framework for thinking about how to deal with them.
Makes sense.
Hmm.
So when we think about taming these distractions, where do they usually come from?
Well, they can come from both outside of us and inside of us.
Yeah.
You know, we tend to focus on the external stuff.
Yeah, like the notifications, the noisy coworkers.
Yeah, exactly. But research actually shows that we interrupt ourselves just as much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Gloria Mark, she's a big name in this field.
Uh-huh.
She said that addressing those external interruptions only solves half the problem.
Wow, I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, it's surprising, right?
Yeah, I would have thought external would be way worse.
You'd think so, but our own minds can be pretty distracting.
Okay, so is there a difference in how long it takes us to refocus after we interrupt ourselves versus when someone else interrupts us?
There is.
Okay.
It actually takes longer to get back to work after a self-interruption.
So it's worse when we do it to ourselves.
Pretty much.
Oh, wow.
Like, on average, it's 29 minutes after a self-interruption
Okay.
compared to 23 minutes for an external one.
Okay, so either way, you're losing a good chunk of time.
Exactly. And that really highlights the power of our own wandering minds.
It really does.
Yeah.
So how should we deal with these uncontrollable distractions?
Well, it depends. If it's
Yeah.
something annoying, like a loud noise, yeah.
The best thing to do is just try to bring your attention back to what you were doing as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Don't dwell on it.
Don't get sucked in.
Yeah, just refocus.
Okay, what about if it's something pleasurable but still uncontrollable?
Like if a friend stops by for a chat.
Right.
It's okay to enjoy the interaction, but then make a conscious effort to get back on track afterwards.
So enjoy it, but don't let it derail you.
Exactly.
All right, I like that.
It's all about balance.
Yeah, balance is key.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the chapter talks about this really cool concept called distraction-free mode.
Oh, yeah, this is a game changer.
Tell me more.
So it's basically about intentionally creating an environment where you eliminate as many distractions as possible.
Okay.
The goal is to make your task the most appealing thing for your brain.
So it's like removing all the competition.
Exactly. You're making it the path of least resistance.
Oh, I see.
It's like building a little focus bubble around yourself.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, it's about being proactive and setting yourself up for success. Okay, so what are some things we can actually do to, like, create this distraction-free zone?
Well, there are a bunch of practical things.
Okay.
You can use blocking apps on your computer to stop yourself from going to those tempting websites.
Right.
Social media, news sites, whatever your weaknesses are.
We all have them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what else?
Put your phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
And ideally put it out of sight.
Like in another room?
Yeah, if you can.
Okay, out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
What about things like caffeine?
Well, caffeine can be tricky.
Right?
It can definitely boost your focus, but too much can make you jittery and anxious.
Yeah, I definitely know that feeling.
So it's about finding that sweet spot.
Okay.
And then noise-canceling headphones can be amazing.
Oh, yeah?
Especially if you're in a noisy environment.
Yeah, those are lifesavers.
They can really help you block out the world and focus.
So it's really about creating a personalized plan based on your own biggest distractions.
Absolutely. Everyone's different. What distracts one person might not even faze another.
Yeah, totally.
So it's about figuring out what works for you.
I like that. A personalized approach.
Yeah, there's no one-size-fits-all solution here.
Now, are there other things we can do to really, like, dial up the effectiveness of this distraction-free mode?
Oh, yeah. There are a few more tricks up our sleeve.
Okay, tell me.
So the author suggests checking out specific blocking apps.
Yeah.
Like Freedom, Cold Turkey, and Rescue Time.
Good.
They all have different features and levels of, like, restriction.
So you can find one that fits your needs.
Exactly.
Okay, what else?
Sometimes just unplugging from the internet altogether can be really helpful.
Like a digital detox.
Exactly.
Right.
And changing your physical workspace can also make a difference.
Oh, interesting.
Like working outside the office
Yeah.
or even just in a different room.
Okay,
Sometimes a change of scenery is all you need.
I like that.
But it's important to be mindful of the social aspect, you know?
Right, like letting people know you're going offline.
Exactly. You don't want to just disappear without a trace.
Yeah, that could cause some problems.
Definitely.
Okay, and then you mentioned rewards earlier.
Oh, yeah. Rewards are a great way to motivate yourself.
So, like, after a successful period of deep focus,
Exactly.
give yourself a little treat.
Yeah, something to look forward to.
Okay, I like that.
And there's this funny anecdote about a team that used lamps to signal do not disturb.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And if someone broke the rule, they'd get squirted with a water gun.
What?
Yeah, it sounds crazy.
That's hilarious.
But it worked for them.
I guess whatever works, right?
Exactly. You got to find what keeps you focused.
So what's the big payoff for all this effort? Like, what does it feel like to actually be in this distraction-free mode?
Well, the author describes it as the sense of relief.
Okay.
And like you're conserving your mental energy.
You're not constantly fighting urges.
Exactly. You can just relax and focus on the task at hand.
It sounds peaceful.
It is. It's like a breath of fresh air.
Okay, so we can't be in hyper-focus mode all the time.
Right.
So the chapter also talks about working with reduced distractions.
Mhm.
What's that all about?
So it's about being more intentional about the interruptions you allow,
Okay,
realizing that some are less costly than others.
right. Some are necessary.
Yeah, like for collaboration and communication,
Okay.
it's about being strategic, not just reactive.
You're picking your battles.
Exactly.
And email is a big one here, right?
Yeah, email is a major culprit.
Like, why is it such a big focus?
Well, it's kind of a paradox.
Right.
The time we spend on individual emails might seem small,
Yeah,
but it consumes so much of our attention throughout the day.
right.
The checking, the waiting for new messages, the mental context switching.
It all adds up.
Yeah, it's death by a thousand cuts.
It's like this constant low-level anxiety.
Exactly.
Okay, so the strategy with email is to be more deliberate about when we engage with it
Precisely.
instead of constantly reacting.
Yeah, you want to be in control.
So set specific times to check and respond.
Yeah, that way you're not constantly at its mercy.
I like that.
It's about taking back your time and attention.
Okay, so the chapter goes into some common pain points and solutions.
Uh-huh.
Let's start with notifications.
Okay, so the big thing here is to disable any non-essential notifications.
Like anything that's not absolutely crucial.
Exactly.
You're not constantly being bombarded.
Yeah, you want to be the one choosing when you're interrupted.
Right, not the other way around.
And be careful of what the author calls the digital vortex.
Oh, what's that?
It's when you just glance at something quickly
Mm-hmm.
and then suddenly you've lost an hour.
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling.
That happens to the best of us.
Okay, so set up VIP notifications for really important stuff.
Yeah, that can help.
And use airplane mode when you need to really focus.
Absolutely. That's a lifesaver.
Okay, what about our smartphones? They're like the ultimate distraction device.
They really are. I mean, they're so tempting.
It's like they're designed to be addictive. I know, right?
So the advice is to treat your phone like the distraction machine it is.
Okay, how do we do that?
Keep it out of sight as much as possible.
Okay.
And be really intentional about when you check it.
So, no mindless scrolling.
No, that's the enemy.
Okay, any other tips?
Yeah, there's this idea of minding the gaps.
What's that?
It's about being aware of those little pockets of downtime
Uh-huh.
and resisting the urge to just automatically reach for your phone.
Okay, so like waiting in line.
Yeah, or waiting for the elevator.
Right.
Those are prime times for mindless scrolling.
They are. I'm so guilty of that.
We all are.
Okay, what else?
You can try phone swaps with a friend.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like swap phones for an hour or two.
So you don't have access to your own distractions.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
And again, strategic use of airplane mode.
Yeah, that seems to be a recurring theme.
It's a powerful tool.
Okay, and you mentioned having a separate device for distractions?
Yeah, like an old tablet. That way you can still do the things you enjoy,
Right.
but without the temptation of all the other apps on your phone.
Okay, so you're kind of compartmentalizing.
Exactly.
Right.
And then, of course, there's the classic advice of decluttering your apps.
Oh, yeah, I definitely need to do that.
Get rid of anything you don't use regularly.
Okay, out with the old.
Yeah, and create a mindless folder for the ones you know are time wasters.
So you're at least aware of them.
Yeah, it's about being mindful.
Okay. Now, remember you mentioned this concept of hiring devices.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Tell me more about that.
So it's about thinking of your devices as tools that you're hiring to do a specific job.
Okay.
Each device should have a clear purpose.
Right.
And the problem is, as we get more and more devices,
Yeah.
their functions start to overlap.
Right, so you have redundancy
Exactly. And that can lead to distraction.
because you're constantly switching between them.
Yeah, and you're not really sure which one is the best tool for the job.
Okay, so how do we avoid that?
So ask yourself, what specific problem does this device solve for me that my other devices don't?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, it helps you be more intentional about the technology you use.
And avoid clutter, both physical and digital.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
The author talks about getting rid of their fitness tracker.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and their TV.
Wow, that's a big one.
Yeah, but they realized that those devices weren't really serving a unique purpose anymore.
Right, they were just adding to the noise.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about email again.
Oh, email, the bane of our existence.
I know, right?
It's a major distraction for so many people.
It's like a black hole of time and attention.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, a lot of people have notifications turned on for it.
Oh, yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
It is.
Okay, so what are some of the tactics for, like, taming the email beast?
Well, there are a bunch, actually.
Yeah, lay them on me.
First, only check it when you have the time and mental energy to deal with it.
So, no quick glances in between tasks. No, those are dangerous.
Okay, what else?
Keep track of how often you're checking it.
Like, actually tally it up.
Yeah, it's eye-opening.
Okay, I'll try that.
Most people check it way more than they realize,
Yeah, I probably do too.
and then decide beforehand when you're going to check it.
So schedule it in.
Exactly, like any other important task.
Okay, I like that.
And when you do check it, hyper-focus on it.
So no multitasking.
No, give it your full attention.
Okay, what else?
Limit the number of places you check it from.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like delete the app from your phone.
So you're not tempted to check it all the time.
Exactly.
Okay, and what about using a to-do list?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So your inbox doesn't become your to-do list.
Exactly. That's a much better system.
Okay, what about having two separate email accounts?
That can be helpful for some people.
Like one for work and one for personal stuff.
Yeah, it helps keep things separate.
Okay, and then there's the email holiday.
The email holiday, a beautiful thing.
Tell me more. It's when you just completely disconnect from email for a while.
Like a vacation from your inbox.
Exactly.
Okay, and how long does it usually last?
It depends. It could be a day, a week, even longer.
Wow, I don't know if I could do that.
It's tough, but it can be really liberating.
Okay, what else?
The 5-sentence rule?
What's that?
It's about keeping your emails short and sweet.
No more rambling novels.
Exactly. Get to the point.
Okay, I like that.
And then finally, wait before sending important messages.
Oh, good advice.
Yeah, it's easy to send something in the heat of the moment.
Right, and then regret it later.
Exactly. So take a breath, cool down, then send it.
Okay, I like all these tips.
It can make a big difference.
Yeah, I need to implement some of these for sure.
I think we all do.
Okay, so meetings are another big time suck.
Oh, yeah, meetings can be brutal,
I know, right?
especially when they're not well run.
Okay, so how can we make meetings less distracting and more productive?
Oh, the chapter gives us 4 main strategies.
Okay, hit me.
First, never attend a meeting without an agenda.
So you know what you're getting into.
Exactly.
Okay.
What else?
Question every recurring meeting on your calendar.
Like, are they really necessary?
Yeah, sometimes they just become a habit.
Right, and they lose their purpose.
Exactly.
Okay, what else?
Challenge the attendance list.
So only the essential people are there.
Yeah, no need to waste everyone's time.
Okay, and finally?
Practice hyperfocus during the meetings you do attend.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Leave your phone and a laptop behind.
Oh, that's tough.
I know, but it's worth it.
Okay, and actually engage in the discussion.
Yeah, be present and attentive.
Okay, I like those strategies.
They're simple but effective.
Yeah, common sense, but not always common practice.
Unfortunately, that's true.
Okay, and finally, the internet itself.
Oh, the vast expanse of the
It
internet.
can be a huge distraction.
It's like a black hole of information.
I know, right?
And it's so easy to get lost in it.
So how do we tame this beast?
Be more intentional about how you use it.
Tell me. Disconnect for set periods of time?
Like a digital detox.
Exactly.
Okay, and for how long?
Could be an hour, could be a whole day.
Wow, a whole day without the internet.
It's challenging, but it can be really refreshing.
Okay, what else?
When you're traveling, try working offline.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, resist the urge to connect to the hotel Wi-Fi.
So you're forced to focus on what you need to do.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
A lot of our internet time is just procrastination.
Yeah, that's true.
So disconnecting can really boost your productivity.
Okay, the chapter then talks about simplifying your environment.
Uh-huh.
How does our physical environment impact our ability to focus?
Well, our surroundings actually influence us a lot more than we realize.
Okay.
Through what are called environmental cues.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Like the author tells the story about having a bowl of jelly beans on their desk.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And they just couldn't resist them.
Yeah, I get that.
It's like those visible temptations are just too hard to ignore.
I know, right? It's like, if it's there, I'm going to eat it.
Exactly.
Okay, what are some other examples of environmental cues?
Well, things like takeout menus,
Yeah.
a TV that's on,
Right.
even just having your phone visible can be distracting.